One of the viewers asked me to make a video about, make a story or um, film a video about, you know, um, all these stereos that I collect, um, where I started, and, you know, what brands that I um, collect, and buying, you know, um, different types of stereos. Um, when I started, when I started collecting stereos, I uh, I started from a very cheap um, stereos. I start buying those really $5 stereos, or $7 stereos, or $10 stereos, receivers. I started from, I remember I started from Optimus, which is the Radio Shack, and I bought the Sanyo RCA. Um, this stereos that, it's a very cheap looking receivers, and you know um, that's where I started buying and start collecting, because a while ago, when you don't have money, um, you start buying those really crappy ones, and you know I start uh, I start connecting the audio cable and to the speakers, and listening to the music, the sounds of the receivers from this cheap uh, stereos, and the sound quality is, it's not, the same like the good expensive stereos. And then, I start buying this cheap turntables. I remember I bought a $5 turntable. um, it's black and it's plastic. And then I bought a small turntable, maybe $10, and you know that thing doesn't really sound right, because um, it's uh, it's not the same with, with the good brands and expensive brands. And um, but in the long period of time, you start um, learning, and you start um, understanding, and then your knowledge, and then you start moving up little by little, and then you get tired of um, having those cheap ones, and you want to try something else, so you start moving up, and then you wanted to buy a good ones. And then I went up um, to buy this the next one I bought, I believe. um, I tried the techniques. Okay. And then I went up to buy uh, realistic. Okay. And then realistic is, I believe they used to have that in Radio Shack. And then I bought, Sanyo, yeah. And then I bought, so you keep moving up. And then I bought Toshiba, you know. And then went up to buy JVC, you know. Then later on I bought, yeah, MCS receiver. And then, you know, as a collector, you wanna step up, and you know, um, you wanna move up to the higher level, and then, you know, so there's still, you know, it sounds good, you know, um, it starts sounding good, and then my ears are start getting satisfied listening to those stereos, but there is still something missing, you know. It's still later on, you're still not satisfied about the sounds, the looks, um, the brand, you know, and then you wanted to um, move up again, you know. So the sound quality of those stereos, it's not the same, you know, like you know the expensive uh, stereos, and then you know I I said to myself, "Man, there's still something missing, you know. I mean, they still kind of look uh, cheap, the stereos, and they are not bad, but you know, still, I'm still looking for something." And then I keep, looking online and looking in YouTube, and you know, how they set up their stereos, you know, the brands, and and what they have, and you know, so I've been watching, you know, people has Marantz and Sansui, Lafayette, you know, Luxman, um, Harman Kardon, and then you know, um, all this, you know, good stereos, even from Aquaface and you know, Macintosh. So I start, in a long period of time, and then year and years, and then I decided to, you know, um, sell those stereos and let it go, and then save the money, and add more money, and so when you're working, and you make money, so you start putting away money, and then later on, piece by piece, I start um, buying, and I can afford to buy, you know, Sansui, Luxman, and then Marantz, and then I started buying the Sansui, and then I remember buying this Sansui for, I believe, uh, I got it for $80, you know, and I start buying this 1040 Marantz, the small one, and then you know I bought Marantz from somebody, from OfferUp, and then we meet in the parking lot somewhere, and then I tested out this receiver because I have a battery pack, and I bought a CD player and a speaker, a small speaker, and then I connected, and then it works. So I bought that Marantz SR 5100, and then you know, we still um, get into you know um, I believe buying more, and I bought this Marantz 4430, yeah, the 4 quad, which is a very nice receiver, and you know um, it's amazing, the sound quality, the looks, and I'm really satisfied, and this is how I started um, liking and you know um, loving this Marantz 4430 and the rest of my Marantz, and so was the Sansui, um, and even this Sansui turntable, and this 5050. I love the sound quality of this, And I do like the Sansui, um, the 9090 dB, but it's just gigantic and it costs a lot of money. So there's still stereo receivers out there that I want to buy. Aquaphase, Sansui, the 99 dB, Marantz, Macintosh, and I still wanted to, have this stereos in my collections, but it's just costing a lot of money. And this is, how, um, you know, back to the, you know, beginning. This is how I started to uh, collect, and this is how I started buying from the cheap ones to the expensive ones. And I started from the bottom, and I um, collect those vintage stereos, and I wasn't really satisfied in the end. And at the end of the day, I was not, you know but I wasn't regretting, because I only paid $5, $7 here and there, $10, and I still I sold it uh, later on. You know, um, a lot of those stuff that I have, and then I sold it to this guy that I know, and that's how I let those cheap stereos go. But I started from Optimus, Realistic, Sanyo, um, even e- even the what do you call this? Yeah, I bought the even Harman Kardon. I bought those, but Harman Kardon is a good receiver. It's a good stereo. But to me, I'm always been a big fan of Sansui and Marantz, so that's all I have. Um, I don't have Macintosh yet, but if I see one online for a good price, and I will buy Macintosh. The only thing about Macintosh, those vintage ones, because they are some of them are bulbs. They are uh, kind of like tubes. So yeah, not kind, but yeah, they are tubes. Some of them, those little bulbs there. So the thing with that, guys, when it when it breaks, then you have to buy those bulbs. And I know those bulbs, they are not cheap, especially Macintosh or other tubes, stereos. Um, but I saw the Macintosh in the back of the Macintosh, and there's bulbs in there. So those are the vintage Macintosh. And the Macintosh today, compared today now, they are modernized, and they don't really have bulbs anymore, and they cost thousands of money. And they're different. The modern Macintosh is different from vintage. The vintage ones, has different looks, different frames and cover, and the bulbs. So definitely different. But that's the only thing I'm concerned about, the Macintosh, those vintage Macintosh. But you know, but things like this, you have to have money to fix this, problems when um, it breaks. So you gotta have funds um, to cover your hobby. So, um, but yeah, so um, yeah, this is how I started my journey. You know, when it comes to my what do you call this, stereos. When I start buying stereos, and this is how um, I started. So the same thing, you know, um, with the watches, guys. And I do collect watches. I love watches, and like I said in my other videos, I only buy Japan made. You know, so Japan is good. They last long. And here, guys, I have this Seiko watch. Okay, It's a very nice Seiko watch, Japan made. But this is automatic, but it's kinetic, but it's Japan made. And you can always find that logo down there somewhere. If you have a magnifying glass, you can see that there's a logo that says Japan. So some of the Seiko watches or other watches, guys, they are not made in Japan. So you have to be careful when you buy those watches, because a lot of countries nowadays, they copied a lot of watches, and they are not made in Japan, because when it's made in Japan, they are expensive. Okay. And some of the watches from Japan are very expensive. Some of the Seiko watches can cost $3,000 to $5,000 or more. So um, today, they made a lot of merchandise from China. It's because it's a cheap labor and it's affordable from the from people, um, for the people to have the merchandise. And it's kind of good, but at the same time it's not kind of good, because when people love Japan made, it's kind of like an insult, because um, Japan, it's always top notch, and it's a good quality. The lifespan, the durability, the looks, everything is just there. So like this watch here, you know. So I'll give you an example, guys. Um, I'll give you an example, okay? Like the Invicta, okay? So Invicta, guys, originally that made in Japan, and you know, um, people are liking Invicta because Japan made. But today, you can see that there's Invicta made in China, Invicta made in maybe Malaysia or Vietnam, or you name it, or even Mexico, maybe. So a lot of people are copying this, and the knowledge of the people are spreading around the globe, and making the watches. So now today, um, Japan is no longer. I mean, I'm not saying no longer, but I would say you know um, they're not the only country that knows how to make watches now, um, or stereos. A lot of countries now are um, they learned how to make um, stereos. You know, some stereos you can see that it's made in China, made in. I saw a stereo made in Vietnam. I saw a stereo made in Canada. I saw made in stereos made in Europe. I saw a stereo made in Korea. So a lot of countries now are upgrading um, their knowledge, and they can build stereos now. But the performance, guys, is totally different. Okay, if you compare their products to Japan, there's no way, they are far from Japan, because the quality and the performance and how they build these stereos made in Japan is just amazing. And if you can just look at the you know the build of the stereos and how they build it and the material that they use, and you can tell that it's still you know um, cheap and not far away from Japan. You know, on my stereos here, guys, these are Japan made. If you look in the back, it says made in Japan, made in Japan, made in Japan. As you can see how sturdy it is. The speakers, very strong. The speakers, they are just strong, and that's why I, uh, you know, I keep this Japan-made stereos, and I collect these stereos because these are not easy to find anymore. They are not. easy. You cannot just see them out there anymore. It's rare. Look at this Sansui, this beautiful Japanese Sansui turntable, guys. This is made in Japan. It's a very nice turntable. And the platter and how they built the tone arm and the cartridge is just amazing. Turntable from Sansui 2050C. And so is my speakers and my 5050 Sansui receiver. So these are the things that I really uh, take care of the stereos, because these are, to me, these are valuable, and it's part of my life, and it's just unique piece. And to have this, the sound quality of the Sansui from the speaker, the SB 1500, is just amazing. Even this one here, it's not easy to find these speakers today. I've seen a lot of speakers out there that they are selling, but I've never seen one like this. So this is an amazing speaker. The sound qualities, the build, the chrome here that you can see all around, it's just amazing. So uh, I value this, stereos, because I know it's a good stereos, and the quality, the sounds, the performance of the stereos is just amazing. So I don't care if their speakers are like $1,000 or more, if they have AR or they have BN, B&W, so, or they have the Macintosh speakers or Bose speakers. But to me, guys, the vintage stereos back in the 70s, they built it so good, so well, and you can never believe, when you listen to the sound of this, and how they build this, the speaker, it's very, very sturdy and strong. So you feel the sound of it, very, very sturdy, very strong. And if you've seen other speakers out there that is not made in Japan, you'll see uh, how weak, how uh, thin the material that they use for the speakers. So like I said, you know, learning and improving, and you know, knowing, and to have knowledge. It takes time to learn these things, how to have good stereos, how to buy the right stereos for yourself, because I experienced buying those cheap ones, and then it's just waste of money. And luckily, I sold those stereos and I got my money back, and add more money to buy Marantz and Sansuis. So yeah, this is the story of my experience when I was younger, when I started buying those cheap ones that I can afford. And then later on, when you get older, you have the money, you work hard for money, you value the money, and then you start saving money and you buy Marantz, Sansuis, and good speakers. These are the things that um, that you can um, keep for a very long time, until maybe you turn 70 years old or 80 years old, because these are good stereos receivers. And the thing with these guys, when you have the good stereos, and you did not pay thousands of money, you are happy. You have a good sounds, good looks of the stereos, good vintage stereos, and you're satisfied. You can enjoy listening to your vinyl record player, to your Sansui turntable, and you can be happy. It's not all about the money that you spend, the money that you paid for your stereos for $3,000 or 5,000 or 10,000, or it could be $30,000, and then later on you regret, because when you get older you need money, and then those money that you spent, now you need it. So this is the thing, guys. That's one reason why I don't pay more than $1,000 or $2,000, $3,000, even if I can pay for those stereos that amount. I don't want to, because to me, money first before stereos. I value the money, and when you have, money, you can always buy anything you want, if you want it. But it's just about how to control yourself and how to have a good stereos without spending a lot of money. So this is how I am, and this is what I want, and this is what I'm happy for, that I pay for these stereos, not thousands of money. And the sound quality is amazing. I'm happy, and you know, um, I'm not looking forward to upgrade for uh, high level, high end stereos that you will pay thousands of money. Um, no way, because I'm debt free. When you're debt free, you don't have to owe a lot of money from the banks, and banks, they cannot chase you when you don't owe big money. So um, buying stereos, guys, sometimes you can make a mistake, and if you use your credit cards and you buy one piece Marantz, one piece Sansui, one piece Macintosh, one piece of this expensive stereos that you want to set up, and if you're using your credit card, then you're gonna be in debt. So a lot of people out there, guys, they're in debt, and I don't know how they handle their debt, because the banks today, they are nailing those people when they owe big money, when they owe a lot of money from them, from the banks. Banks are getting a lot of interest money from them. So pay your debt and get out from debt. So yeah, so this is how you know, how I started um, buying those non-branded stereos, or not good brand stereos, or receivers, from speakers to turntable. And then I started from those stereos. So, and then later on, start buying Marantz, Sansui, Luxman, and I enjoy listening, and then I enjoyed what I have, and I'm satisfied with my stereos. And I do have more collections, from JVC, another Marantz down there, MCS, Techniques turntable. I have three more there, Lafayette, and I have more inside of the behind the speakers here. And recently I bought a stereo here, uh, you know, a good one with with kind of like the Iron Man. Um, is that a transformer in the middle of the receiver? It's right there, and you know, I'll make a video again next time with that receiver. And I still have Marantz there, Lafayette, and I'm pretty good what I have now, and even Sony I have up there, Sony receiver. So I'm pretty good at what I have, and what else can I ask for? I have Marantz, Sansui, I have Marantz, 5, 6 Marantz, I have 3, 4, 5 Sansuis, and I'm happy, So I only have 2 years to listen, but as long as you got a good setup, good speakers, and my setup here, guys, right here, this is Sansui, all Sansui here. The Sansui 2050C turntable, the Sansui 5050 receiver, the Sansui SB 1500, and they are Japan made, all Japanese made, and the sound quality is amazing. So I still have a couple more speakers in my garage. I have another Sansui speakers, and you know um, I will probably listen more this summer. I'm gonna check it out, make sure that they are clean in the garage, and make sure they are not getting molds or anything like that. So I still have the SP 2000, I believe. Yeah, in my garage. And even here, guys, I have this Sansui. See, the 2000X. It's a very nice stereo. The sound quality is amazing. I love this receiver, and definitely, I will not sell this because these are vintage and this is very nice, and the sound quality and how sturdy it is. So very heavy, very strong, and the sound quality and the capacitors, transformers inside. These are surrounded by metal frames and then wood. So I can feel it, guys, that it's heavy. So let's put it down. Yeah, so that 2000X is a good receiver, and there's more receivers out there. And the Sansui 9090 DB, it's one of my dream to have, but it costs a lot of money, and I don't think I'm gonna go for it. That's why I bought this 5050, and I'm happy with this, and I can enjoy listening. So those expensive receivers, guys, the thing with those expensive receivers, like I said, uh, you know if it breaks, then it could cost money. So that's what I'm a bit scared of. But maybe one day, if I see a good price, less than 600, maybe, who knows. But I don't think they will sell that. But maybe some people do need the money, they let it go. Those 9090 dB, or starting from the 7070, 8080, the 9090, they are heavy receivers. Yeah. And I bought this CD here. The CDs, these are blues, still sealed. I bought it for $1 at the flea market, and we can always get good CDs, So sometimes, from time to time, I listen to CDs, and this is a good, deal. So, yeah, guys. So another video here, like my simple story where I started collecting, and what brands I start buying when I was younger, and and then keep moving up. So one of the viewers asked me to film, what did you start, buying, what brands, and how did you level up, and how did you get into expensive stereos, and whatever. And so I started from the bottom. I started from buying those RCAs, Optimus, Realistic, those cheap ones, Sanyo, GE, all those crappy ones. But back in the day, guys, they are the experiment of these engineers from Japan. They build this cheap stereos, like very skinny stereos, and their knowledge is not, it's not getting bigger yet, those engineers. And then time, years, so their knowledge keeps getting bigger, so they keep building big stereos and powerful stereos and more good stereos to sell. So that's how it works. It's the same thing with cars. Years and years and years, the generation, keep going up, the level, the knowledge, the skills. So they keep building expensive stereos until today. So now they're selling this BMWs, Mercedes, Porsche, Ferraris, Lamborghini, Aston Martin, Bentley, you name it. So the mind is amazing how they can create stereos and cars, and just an amazing, even watches. So, and some of the watches now, some of them are $200,000, some of them are $500,000. There's watches for $1 million. So the mind is just crazy, and how the generation, from the 70s to today, 2024, 2025, and going to 2020 up to 2030, 2050, you know, it's gonna keep going up, and the knowledge of the engineers are keep, you know, building and expanding, and you know, they will sell expensive stuff. So yeah, guys, so this is the story of my journey about my collections from vintage stereos. And you know, that's how I started, you know. So um, like I said, guys, the story that I have, it's when I was a kid, and then you know, I saw my father's turntable and speakers, and that's how I started um, playing around with the vintage stereos and playing his vinyl record when he was going to work. And then I sneak, you know, I sneak in there and open the speaker box and looking at the magnets, the cable wires, and you know how the speakers like this big. I remember my dad's speakers like this big, and the magnets like this big. I said, this is really amazing. And you know, so when I was a kid, and then I start building my own speakers. I grabbed some of a piece of wood, plywood, and built my own speakers and cut the hole in there and put the speaker there and built my own speaker. I remember when I was a kid, I hang up that speaker on the corner of my wall up in the ceiling and facing down. It was only one speaker, and then I connect my radio, small radio there, and to make the sound bigger. And you know, that's how I started. And then you know, I keep opening some receivers and looking inside, you know, so until I got to learn how to fix this turntable that I bought. And it was, this thing is broken, and I fixed it, and you know, it works, and now I enjoy listening to it. So that's how I started. And then you know, so time and time and time until today, that's how, you know, it's part of my journey of my life about vintage stereos. So there it is, guys. Now if the guy watched this video, now he knows how I started, about my journey, you know, about buying vintage stereos, where I started. So guys, another video here, and enjoy your stereos. And if you did not click the subscribers yet, click the subscribers, and it'll help me out, and I appreciate that. And we all share our videos, and we all share our history about the journey of our lives to this. So guys, thanks again, and I will see you again next time. For now, say bye bye.